Hello everyone. Firstly, may I introduce myself to all. I'm Gwendolyn Q. Eborde of London Central Elementary School, and I am very thankful to present to all of you my PowerPoint video presentation and to share my ideas and a simple knowledge of game from my assigned topic. Actually, my presentation composed only with 22 slides, and I am hoping that you will learn from my topic as I discuss here the important things and ideas that will be helpful for us teachers, though we are facing today with the pandemic called COVID-19. So let us start. My assigned topic is all about thinking skills and creativity. Students project utilizing IT, the other name is in the slide itself, IT for higher thinking skills and creativity. This would be mean that integrating technology into our teaching and learning. The meaning of this is putting together the technology into teaching and learning so that this will become one in learners' education. Therefore, the learners will be able to specify, focus on introducing, reinforcing, supplementing, and extending the knowledge and skills to learners so that they can become exemplary users of educational technology. So here's the objective of this lesson: to provide an integral support to higher thinking skills and creativity in informal technology. In the traditional information absorption model of teaching, the teacher organizes and presents information to students, learners. We all know that the old or traditional methods of teaching make use of audiovisual aids of devices, chalk and blackboards for illustrations, magazines and books for references, which are always provided by the teacher. The students are given a specific projects to perform, and assignments have definite objectives. Sometimes the old method is called spoon feeding, with the teacher giving guidelines all throughout the lessons being taught. We did not give ample time for our learners to think or share their ideas what would the teacher trying to teach to them, because we give already the guidelines or objectives for our lesson. Today or nowadays, students are expected to be not only cognitive but also flexible, analytical, and creative. Meaning to say, in this new era of modern technology, students are encouraged to develop their own ideas and ways on how to gather information needed for their subjects in school. So therefore, their creativity is being developed and intellectual independence is nurtured gradually when they are given the freedom to do something the way that they wanted to do it, in order to produce projects and reports using the software of the computer. In this lesson, there are several methods proposed by the use of computer-based as an integral support to higher thinking skills and creativity. In order to define the higher thinking skills and creativity, we may adopt the framework that is helpful in synthesizing of many models and definitions of the subject matter. So, this is the thinking skills framework, which all of us teachers familiar with this already. So before we go to the framework, I will define first the higher level learning outcomes. To define the higher level thinking skills and creativity, we may adopt framework that is helpful synthesizes of many models and definitions of the subject matter. Okay, so this is the thinking skills framework, which all of us teachers familiar with this already. From the framework, there are 10 types of complex thinking skills. These are the focusing, information gathering, remembering, analyzing, generating, organizing, imagining, designing, integration, and evaluating. Out of these 10 types of complex thinking skills, each complex thinking skills, there are sub-skills that the learners might be developed. Another modified framework is the Bloom's taxonomy, which has been applied by generations of K-12 teachers and even college instructors in their teaching. The image presented visually demonstrates the hierarchy of Bloom's taxonomy. As you can see, there is an arrow there from lower order thinking skills to higher order thinking skills. In the first level of Bloom's taxonomy is to remember. Example of activities at the remembering level are memorizing a poem, recall states capitals, and remembering math formulas. Next is the second level of Bloom's taxonomy is to understand. Example of activities at the understanding level is to organize the animal kingdom based on a given framework, illustrate the difference between a rectangle and square, summarize the plot of a simple story. The third level of Bloom's taxonomy is to apply. Example activities at the application level is using a formula to solve a problem, select design to meet purpose, reconstruct the passage of a new law through a given government system. Next is the fourth level of Bloom's taxonomy is to analyze. Example activities at the analysis level is to identify the parts of democracy, explain how the steps of the scientific process work together, identify why a machine isn't working. Next is the fifth level of Bloom's taxonomy is to evaluate. Example activities at the evaluation level is to make a judgment regarding an ethical dilemma, interpret the significance of a given law of physics, illustrate the relative value of technological innovation in a specific setting, which is a tool that helps recover topsoil farming, for example. Next level is the sixth and the final level of Bloom's taxonomy is to create or creating. Example activities at the creation level is to design a new solution to an old problem that honors or acknowledges the previous failures, delete the least useful arguments in a persuasive essay, write a poem based on a given theme and tone. This framework will actually give the teacher strategies on how to guide his or her students on the learning process, which students would enjoy and with hands-on experience about the topic. With this framework also, there will be no longer spoon-feeding discussion but a new focused one that would surely benefit the students and enhance their thinking skills. There is also another method used to develop higher order thinking skills and creativity using a computer. First is the so-called upgraded project method. The upgraded project method here was used here for these modern days. The teachers here are now guided on their goal to help students achieve higher level thinking skills and creativity beyond ordinary. Now, the question is, what is the importance of project method? The project method is very relevant and might be feasible to others because it would provide students with social goals and allow them to engage in activities that would require them to think and solve problems. In this project method, Teachers assign the students to work on projects with deep complexity, duration, and relevance to the real world. But in the revised project method, there is a tighter link between the use of projects for simply coming up with products to having the students undergo the process of complex higher thinking skills. Next proposed method is the constructivist paradigm. The constructivist paradigm is basically a theory based on observation and scientific study about how people learn. It says that people construct their own understanding and knowledge of the world through experiencing things and reflecting on those experiences in this situation. So the students here, not the teachers, make decisions about what to put into the project, how to organize information, how to package the outcomes for presentation, and the like. The question is, what are the benefits of this constructivist learning? In this constructivism paradigm, one of the teacher's main roles becomes to encourage this learning and reflection process. Therefore, the students will constantly assess how the activity is helping them gain understanding. By questioning themselves and their strategies, students in a constructivist classroom ideally become expert learners. This gives them ever broadening tools to keep learning with a well-planned classroom environment. The students learn how to learn. Let us all remember that in doing projects there are two things that are involved and we should not forget. First is the process. Process refers to the steps, efforts, and experiences in project completion. Second is the product. It is the result or the endpoints of the process. As a future teacher, they must take into consideration the process in every project because in the process, the students are able to think or imagine and apply their creativity. As a result, they have developed their higher order thinking skills. There are also examples of IT-based projects that will also enhance the higher order thinking skills and creativity of students. First is the resource-based projects. In these projects, the students will go beyond the textbook and curriculum materials. Example, the teacher will determine the topics for the examination of the class or presents the problem of a certain activity so the students find information on the problem or questions, then they will organize their information in response to the problems questions given by their teachers. Second is the simple creations. Simple creations wherein the students can be assigned to create their software materials to supplement the needs for relevant and effective materials. Example of software materials are creative writing using the Microsoft software. In the simple creation methods, there are 5 case tasks to do in making a project. First is to clarify the goal of the completed projects to the students. Second, the students themselves will be allowed to generate their own ideas on the project. Third, the teacher encourages idea exchange. Fourth, the students do their work with the teachers as a facilitator. And lastly, the students should be allowed to shift gears and not follow an action path rigidly. Next example of project is the guided hypermedia projects. In this method, the students will interact with hypermedia environment developed by others. Examples are reading articles online, observing PowerPoint presentation, and looking at the various interactive websites in the internet like the DepEd Common, which recently suggested by the DepEd for the learners to use despite of this pandemic occurrence. The last one is the web-based projects. The students can be made to create and post web pages on a given topic. However, creating web pages or even a single web page might be sophisticated and time consuming for the average student, but based on the observation, the posting of web pages in the internet allows students a wider audience. They can also link with other related sites in the internet. This kind of method may be applicable to the high school students or in the tertiary level. Let us always be reminded with the statement of Ron Kine that technology is driving the innovation, technology is driving the creativity, technology and the use of that is going to determine our workers' ability to compete in the 21st century global marketplace.